So over the last few weeks, I have been reading through this book, my first book, The Determined Dreamer. So it's where Ernie sets off to find the awesome olive garden that he has been dreaming of finding all of his life, and decides that now is the time to go in search of it. And he can't convince his family to come with him because they don't believe him. So he has to sadly leave them behind. So today we are picking up Ernie's adventure well into the book. We're on chapter 15. So if you've been following along with me, you'll know what's happened in the story. So if you haven't, in a moment, I'll just recap so you can keep up. Otherwise, you can watch the videos on replay and see what happened with Ernie, and then you can follow me live with each chapter, because we've still got quite a few chapters to go. So first, I want to give a special mention to a special little boy called Ben Allen, whose birthday it is today. He is 9 today, and I realized you are 9 on the 9th of June. So awesome birthday to remember. So I hope you have a fantastic day. I have seen the amazing cake that has been cooked for you, so I wish I was there to have some, but I know you're going to have so much fun with your sister Amy. So also, I know there's a few other people watching, so Amaya, want to say hi to you. You are brilliant. Your work always makes me laugh so much. I love teaching you. So, and also Jinhan, who is another one of my students who is amazing with her writing. So it's going to be such a great story writer, already is such a great story writer. So I'll see you later for a lesson. So thanks for joining me. Anyway, so anyone else who is watching, let me know you're watching, and I will make sure I say hi to you next week. So where are we in the book? Where is Ernie? What has he been up to? So just to recap very quickly, as I mentioned, Ernie's gone in search of his dreams to find a paradise garden that's so much better than where he lives on the dusty old smelly plant pot by the side of the road. And he leaves his family behind. They laugh at him, think he's crazy for his dream, but he is determined that he is going to reach it no matter what. And that is a great attitude to have towards anything, because anything that's worth doing is often challenging. And so if you try and you fail, what do? You try again, and you just keep trying. Eventually, I'm sure you will get there. So that is Ernie all over. So we can learn loads of stuff from Ernie about how to keep on keeping on until we reach our dreams and our goals. So Ernie's gone in search of his dreams, but challenges have happened to poor little squidgy Ernie. So one of them is he ended up as a pet and almost gave up on his dreams. Ended up as a pet in a kitchen on a plant pot in someone's kitchen. Was harassed by the annoying fly, also rather funny, Captain Pablo, the annoying fly. So you can see him on the picture behind me, which is one of my favorite drawings, so put up on the wall. Yes, so anyway, then he makes a shocking discovery as to why he's been kept as a pet. If you've been following, you will remember, and I've set you some brilliant tasks to do. So writing a news report about this, what Ernie discovers. So Ernie discovers that there are a whopping great pile of empty snail shells behind the fridge, which indicates that snails are being cooked and eaten. I don't think I would like to eat a snail. I imagine they would just be kind of rubbery. But anyway, some people do. That's fine. So I wouldn't fancy it. Anyway, so Ernie finally escapes being a pet, and then meets Bruce, the Aussie snail, the Australian snail. And Bruce is a perfect companion for his journey because he's super brave and fearless, but he doesn't really believe in his dreams. However, he helps Ernie on his way, but gets swept up in Ernie's adventure and loves the adventure of it. Then we've discovered they do find the paradise olive garden, and Bruce cannot believe it that it actually exists, and he loves it. Ernie and Bruce are loving it. Oh, on the way, don't forget, they met a special character, Jose, the awesome turtle, the awesome wise turtle who helps them down the river. So he pops up in the story quite a lot, and he's a helpful character. So they are in the olive garden, loving it. Brilliant, could not be better. But Ernie has a restless feeling in his heart. Okay, he cannot settle, and he goes to see Jose and says, "Hey, what's going on?" And Jose says to him, "I think there is something niggling in your heart. There's something you've turned your back on, and you know that it wasn't good." Ernie thinks about it, and he realizes that is true. He has left all the snails of Venezuela there to possibly a disastrous fate of being cooked and eaten. So he has decided, no matter how good Oliver Garden is, he is going to leave it and go back and rescue the snails and bring them back to the garden. Sadly, his beloved companion, Bruce, will not go with him. So Ernie has to make the tough decision to go anyway. So this just shows us how brave Ernie is, and we can learn loads from Ernie. Right, so let's crack on with our chapter. Bigger chapter today. I love this chapter. So it's called A Change of Plan. Ernie sat at the Lemon Harbour Cafe, enjoying his last meal in the Olive Garden. It's so beautiful here, he thought, as the most stunning sunrise filled the morning sky and was reflected in the pool. It was the first time he had felt at peace in a long time. He had now discovered a mission more worthwhile than fulfilling his own dreams. And he felt excited. So Ernie has a bigger purpose, bigger than just something that he wants that feels nice, a bigger purpose that actually helps other people. So wow, Ernie. He had to prevent any more snails from being taken captive and ending up as empty shells behind a fridge in someone's kitchen. And if that meant saying goodbye to this place, then it was a small sacrifice and one that he was glad to make. Bruce joined him at the cafe. Mopily, he slid onto a chair at the table. Okay, I will help you, but Ernie didn't really like butts. I don't like butts. I'll only go with you. Oh, Aussie accent. I'll only go with you as far as the compost heap. I'll set you off on your way, and then I'm heading back here. If you decide to come back and join me someday, then you know where to find me. Okay, so it's a good compromise. Bruce is willing to help him. He'll settle for the compost heap. Better than nothing, but he's not really going to help him all the way. When he had finished speaking, Bruce sat back and folded his tentacles, as if to say, end of discussion. Ernie decided that that was good enough for him. He knew that Bruce was a true adventurer at heart, and now knew him well enough to expect that once he was involved, he wouldn't turn back. As he ate his last mouthful of fig and apricot salad, wow, what a yummy breakfast, and he took one last look around at the precious garden. When there was enough light, the snails set off. First, they had to head to Jose's house. They arrived just as the family of turtles were tucking into their own hearty breakfast. Ernie told Jose the whole story, while Jose's wife prepared them a fresh Spanish omelette. Wow, if you've ever had a Spanish omelette, I know Ben and Amy, I'm sure that you have. They are awesome. Ernie decided not to refuse a second breakfast and savoured the piping hot food. Jose was pleased to help them out. Well done, Ernie, for figuring it out. I knew you had it in you to do something great, and I am with you all the way. Just tell me what you would like me to do. Ernie smiled. He was so glad to have met Jose. He was such a good turtle. Just get us back to that compost heap, please, my friend. Sure thing, amigo, said Jose. As soon as they had finished the delicious omelets, the snails slipped up onto Jose's back and headed out into the river, upstream towards the compost heap. Stick on, my amigos, shouted Jose. This is going to be a tough ride. The snails didn't need to be told twice. Immediately, they pulled out their best suction power and held onto each other with their tentacles. Moving against the stream was a whole different experience. So this time they're not going with the flow of the water, with the rapids, they're going against it. So the water is pushing them backwards, making it even tougher. Moving against the stream was a whole different experience. But despite the current pulling them back, they made it safely. What now? Asked Jose. Ernie looked puzzled. He hadn't really thought any further than reaching Bruce's old home. The three friends stopped for a minute at the river's edge to catch their breath. They watched as a slow and very smelly rubbish track truck made its way past the park along the bridge. Suddenly, Ernie shouted, "That's where we're going. That is our ride." Bruce shot him a very disapproving look. "You've got to be kidding," he shouted. "For one, there is no way we're going to make it up the wall of the bridge to the road. And even if we did, we'd be swallowed alive. Have you seen the mouth on that thing?" They stared into the open back of the rubbish truck, shuddering as its big metal jaws came crushing down effortlessly to devour everything inside it. So I'm sure if you have ever seen a rubbish truck, which I'm sure you have, those big jaws, they look like jaws, come down and crush all the rubbish to make it small so you can fit more in. So that's what they're seeing. And they're describing it as a monster. Besides, you don't even have a plan. How do you think you're going to find a garden from the back of a rubbish truck? Sorry, bad signal. That's it. Okay, hope you guys are still there. Lost a bit of Wi-Fi for a moment. For a moment, Ernie wondered if Bruce was right, but quickly he pulled himself together. "I don't have a plan. I just have faith." So that means he believes in his heart that something is going to happen. Okay, even if he can't see how, he just believes. And right now, I believe that that truck is our ride. Where to? I am not sure, but it beats waiting here all day, he said determinedly. I just have no idea how we're going to get up to it. Bruce looked at him in surprise. "We," he shouted. "I don't remember there being anything about a we, only you." And he began to slide back to the river. "Bruce, wait! At least help me get up there, and then you can go back to the olive garden." Ernie's very persuasive. Bruce stopped. His friend's newfound courage and determination was rather inspiring, even if it was also slightly crazy. "You have gone bananas, mate." Okay, just let me think for a moment." And he sat down between Ernie and Jose. Ernie was just about to get out his trusted sketch pad out from his rucksack to think of some ideas when he heard a familiar barking. Instantly, they all froze. Maybe if you've been listening, you'll remember what it is they're afraid is making that noise. They all looked up at the bridge and saw a pack of hungry-looking dogs following the truck, hoping to get some scraps for breakfast. Okay, just going to let you guys see this picture because it's one of my favorite pictures. And look at the awesome drawing. And there is Bruce and Ernie looking up at the rubbish truck in disbelief with their cherry pip hats on. Cute little dogs on the compost heap. Brilliant illustrations by Lisa Buckridge. So amazing drawings in this book. One of the dogs caught the smell of the compost heap and began making its way down the ramp towards them. It was the largest of the pack, with long legs and big teeth. "Don't move," said Bruce, as they all retreated into their shells. Another picture here, just of them retreating into their shells. Love it when snails pop back in their shells. Funny little creatures. "Don't move," said Bruce, as they all retreated into their shells. They watched as the dog ran back and forth between the road and the compost heap, hunting for the best scraps. "I think your next ride is here, amigos," came a muffled voice from inside Jose's thick shell. Both snails popped their heads out of the shell and looked at Jose, hoping they had heard wrong. "It's easy. You are snails. You can stick on anything," said Jose as he looked over at the dogs. "Now we know turtles are crazy," said Ernie. "Hang on a minute," whispered Bruce. "Maybe he's onto something. It's risky, but it could work." "What?" shouted Ernie, looking at Bruce and feeling decidedly irritated. "All you need to do is attach yourself to the dog's paw and slide up his leg. Then just hold on until the dog goes back up into the bridge, jump off and slide onto the truck. How difficult can it be?" "I'll be here to egg you on," Bruce said. He made it sound so easy. "What do you think?" he added, wearing his most convincing beaming smile. Ernie was not impressed. "I think it's you who has gone bananas," or whatever it was. He was just he was just about to get out his sketch pad so he could calculate the risk involved and the chances of it actually working, when the dog began to sniff a pile of leftovers right next to him. "Now's your chance," whispered Jose. "I am off, guys. I will see you back in the Olive Garden. Hasta luego," which means see you later. And with that, he quietly slipped back into the river. So there you go. We are leaving the chapter with Bruce and Ernie possibly about to embark on a very dangerous way towards their plan. Are they going to attach themselves to the dangerous, scary dog's legs? And maybe they can't even actually stick onto the fur. Who knows? Maybe they've never tried, so they won't know until they try. So they could get squashed under his feet. And hopefully if they do get stuck, will the dog even notice? Will he try to eat them? And can they, will the dog actually go back up towards the rubbish truck? And can they jump off in time before he comes back? Oh my gosh, so many ifs. So tune in for next chapter to find out if they do it. So love that chapter, really great fun. So I have another tip for you today. Been thinking, what can be my tip? So one of my tips that I always tell guys, and I've forgotten, I should have told you this way sooner, because one of my favorite tips. So whenever I go into schools and I talk about how to write stories, this is one of my favorite tips. Okay, so I think I've mentioned before about starting simple. Keep your stories simple, okay? And I have talked about, maybe I haven't actually talked about basic, okay? Focus on the basic ingredients of your story. So they are the different elements that you need. Once you've got your plot of what's going to happen in the story, think about the ingredients you need, like character description, action, when the story happens, short sentences, long sentences. So I've been talking about those throughout each of my book reading sessions. So basic ones, I believe, some people might have slightly varying ideas on it, but I believe the basic ones you need is when, setting description, character description, character emotion, senses, action, dialogue, and there is lots more that I haven't mentioned. I'm trying to think, short sentences, long sentences. Okay, they are all the stuff that makes your story work. Okay, now, if you want to make it a brilliant story, that is a good story, and it would work brilliantly. If the plot works well and everything connects in the plot, then it would be a great story. But if you want to make it an awesome story and take it to the next level, then I suggest leveling up your story. I think maybe some of your teachers have talked about this, leveling up your sentences. Okay, so one of the ways you can level up your story is improving your sentences. So adjectives, great way to improve your sentences. So you can go back over your work once you've written it and say, where can I add in some brilliant adjectives, some descriptions to make your story so say instead of as the green tree, the lush green tree, or the verdant green tree, or the vibrant green tree. It just makes the sentence sound much more interesting, and it gives us a picture in our mind of what the reader, what the author, you, the writer, is trying to describe. So we get a beautiful picture in our mind when we read it. So other things you can do to level up is add more things like more emotions, more action. Also, completely forgot, brilliant way to immediately level up your story is brilliant sentence openers. So think, can you add some fronted adverbials, okay, or phrases as quick as a flash? They are great. All of a sudden, without warning. These are all great ways to open your sentence and definitely improve your writing very quickly. Okay, so my activity for you today is similar to my tip. I want you to go through and find through your work, bits of paper lying around or in your workbook, and find something recently or something you've written that you like. Okay, it could be a whole story, it could be a shorter piece. If it's a whole story, I want you just to pick a paragraph. So I only want you to take one paragraph from whatever you have decided to use. Okay, paragraph is enough. Okay, and then I want you to spend 10 minutes. So set an alarm. Okay, good to have a bit of fun with time and do it in a short time. Okay, set yourself 10 minutes and you have got to level up that piece of work. So quick, you could do it verbally. Okay, you could just speak it. Nothing wrong with that. I love verbal stuff sometimes, or you might want to speak it first and then write it. Okay, but you could just go through and add above it where you could add a adjective cross out and add a fronted adverbial, or maybe just improve the sentence, 1 or 2 sentences in that paragraph. Okay, what about could you add some short sentences in that paragraph that make it sound more exciting? More description could you add? If it's a story, could you add in another sentence that gives us some character emotion? So, what about also similes and things like that? So they are brilliant. I haven't really talked about similes, but I love them. So I'm sure you guys know what they are. If not, find out before next week. But you could add some similes in. Okay, so level up your work. So have a go at leveling up a piece of writing. Right, so I have someone's work to share with you today. So I have promised, we're a little bit over time, but I have promised to share this awesome piece of writing, and it's so much fun. So this is by a brilliant student of mine called Amaya. So we've already said hi, so hi again. So this is about snails being squashed under a fridge. Breaking news. Devious humans attack again. So it's a news report. Love news reports. Great fun. A mountain of snail shells have been found behind the fridge. Snail police officers have been searching for evidence, but nothing could be found. A young snail named Ernie has just realized that he is a pet, or he has been kept as a pet, and has been fattened up with some succulent green olives. So he thought of exercising at the top of a fridge, but when he reached there, he fell in a box of empty snail shells. We asked our reporter, Shelley Squidge from the Bug News, to ask Ernie a few questions about his discovery. Shelley, why were you so tempted to stay and eat those olives? Ernie, well, they're my favourite food, and I couldn't bear to leave them alone with Captain Pablo. Shelley, what were you thinking when you saw this empty shells? Ernie, I was thinking of me roasted on a plate and a fork coming towards me. Brilliant, I love it. Shelley, would you say to other snails that life as a pet is a good thing or not? Ernie, I would say it's a horrible thing to be a pet because it's a dangerous risk as you can get eaten. So, despite police officers not finding anything, they have gone further into their search and have found some clues. They have advised snails to stay in lockdown. Great, I love it. And to stay close. Please scroll down for more information. So, wow, what a brilliant news report. Well done, Amaya. You worked so hard on that and you made me laugh reading it. So I can't wait to see your next news report. So don't forget, guys, share your work with me. Send any work to me and I will read it out. Love to see what you're doing, what story things you've been doing. You can find my email on my website at bethshepherd.com. And you will also find some awesome story writing resources there that are absolutely free. You can download and use that will help you. Okay, so take care, have a great day, and see you on Thursday. Bye.